कैसे हैं आप सभी? उम्मीद करती हूँ आप सभी बहुत अच्छे से होंगे और बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ाई भी कर रहे होंगे। बच्चों, क्लास की शुरुआत करते हैं। चैप्टर है हमारा एग्रीकल्चर। सेल्फ सर्वे। आइडेंटिफाई द नेम्स ऑफ फार्मिंग and write their names in the space given below. Name at least 2 countries in which the following types of farming is practiced. Let's begin. Agriculture. The word agriculture is derived from Latin words ager means soil and culture means cultivation or to culture. Thus, agriculture is the cultivation of animals, plants, fungi and other life forms for wood, fiber and other products used to sustain life. Agriculture includes the rearing of livestock such as cattle, sheep, goats, horses, camels, chickens, ducks and even fishes, silkworms and honeybees. Agriculture is an activity that mainly includes growing crops, fruits, vegetables and flowers. In the world, 50% of people are engaged in agricultural activities. 2/3 of Indian population is still dependent on agriculture. Agriculture land is the most basic of all the resources as it provides food, clothing and shelter to humans. It supplies raw materials to the industries. Agriculture formed the basis of the ancient civilizations. With growing population, ways and means were devised to increase the agricultural productivity of land, irrigation facilities, better seeds, fertilizers and improved methods of farming were introduced to increase the crop yield. The use of powers allowed the introduction of modern machinery in agricultural operations. Farmer mechanisms not only increased crop productivity, also brought more areas under agriculture. It created a crop surplus so that international trade in agricultural crops became possible. Thus, the use of new scientific methods in farming and storage further enhanced the profitability of agriculture products. Key factors for agricultural growth. Climate. Climate is the dominant factor that influences agriculture. Plants thrive best under certain temperature conditions, which also determine their growth period. The annual and seasonal distribution of rainfall determines the available water supply to plants and the active growth period of crops. Soil. Soils determine the type of crops that can be grown in any region. Most crops require specific soil characteristics. Relief and drainage. The agricultural regions are located largely in the plains. Rugged relief hinders farmings. A good drainage system means a supply of river water that favors irrigation. Human factor. Social, economic and political factors all play an important role in influencing the type of agricultural practiced and even the crops and animals that are grown and raised. The agricultural activity is primarily concentrated in those regions where the key factors for suitable agricultural growth exists. Do you know agriculture, the science, art and business of cultivation soil, producing crops and raising livestock, it is also called farming. Apiculture, the rearing of bees for commercial or agricultural purposes. Sericulture, the raising of silkworms to obtain raw silk. Viticulture, the cultivation of grapes. Pisciculture, the breeding, hatching and rearing of fish under controlled conditions. Farm system. Agriculture or farming activities collectively form a system widely known as the farm system. The farm system comprises a variety of inputs, operations and outputs. The inputs of this system are seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, machinery and labor. The operations include plugging, sieving, irrigation, weeding and harvesting. The outputs of the farm system are crops, dairy and poultry products, wool, etc. Types of culture. The types of cultures are as under. Subsistence farming, जिसमें आता है primitive subsistence farming, intensive subsistence farming, shifting cultivation और फिर nomadic herding. अब commercial farming में आता है commercial grain farming, mixed farming और plantations. सबसे पहले subsistence farming. Farmers practice subsistence farming to fulfill the needs of their families. Features of subsistence farming. Farm products are consumed by the farmer and his family. A variety of crops are grown by the farmers. Low levels of technology, machines and household labor are used in subsistence farming. Usually the primitive method of cultivation are used by the farmers. The farmers lack in surplus production. The production is relatively low and the farmers are generally poor. Subsistence farming is of two types. These are primitive subsistence farming and intensive subsistence farming. Primitive subsistence farming. Shifting cultivation and nomadic herding are practiced under primitive subsistence farming. Shifting cultivation. It is also known as slash and burn agriculture. In this type of agriculture, a plot of land is cleared by cutting and burning the trees. The ashes of the burned trees are then mixed with soil and different types of crops are grown. When the soil of this land loses its fertility, the farmer moves to another plot. The previous one is left abandoned. Shifting cultivation is practiced in areas of heavy rainfall and thick vegetation. Potatoes, maize, yam, cassava, etc. are the main crops grown under this type of cultivation. It is mainly practiced by the tribal people living in the tropical forest of Amazon basin, tropical Africa, parts of Southeast Asia and Northeast India. Nomadic herding. In nomadic herding, headmen move from one place to another with their animals. They do so in search of water and fodder for the animals. The herdsmen usually follow a defined route. Goats, camels, yaks, horses and sheep are the main animals reared in nomadic herding. These animals are reared to get wool, hides, milk, meat and many other products. Nomadic herding is mainly practiced in the Sahara Desert, Rajasthan, Jammu and Kashmir and in parts of Central Asia. Intensive subsistence farming. It is practiced on small plots of land. Simple and traditional tools are used in agriculture. A large number of laborers are required. The small plot of land provides only one crop annually. Rice, maize, wheat, pulses, oilseeds, etc. are grown under the intensive subsistence farming. This type of farming is practiced in South, Southeast and East Asia having dense population. Commercial farming. Under commercial farming, the crops are grown on a large scale and animals are reared for sale in the market. Features of the commercial farming. Earning more profit is the main motive of commercial farming. It is done on huge plots of the land. Modern tools and techniques are used. It needs high amounts of capital. Both cash and food crops are grown. Commercial farming and further can be divided into three types: commercial grain farming, mixed farming and plantation. Commercial grain farming. Commercial grain farming is practiced on large farms that spread over hundreds or thousands of hectares. The crops are mainly grown for sale and to earn profits. It is practiced in the temperate grasslands of Asia, Europe and North America. Wheat and maize are the main crops grown. Good quality and modern machines are used in this type of farming. Due to extreme winters in these regions, only a single crop is grown. Due to large-scale production of wheat and maize, the specific areas of commercial grain farming are also called the granaries of the world. Mixed farming. It is a type of agriculture in which equal importance is given to livestock as well as cultivation of crops. In other words, food and fodder crops are given equal importance. It is practiced in USA, Western Europe, Russia, etc. Mixed type of farming is also practiced on small scale in some parts of India like North West Punjab. Under the mixed farming, farms may be large or small. The proportion of land devoted for crops and for rearing varies according to the location of the farms, the soil fertility, market demand and prices of crops and animal products. Plantation. Plantation is a type of commercial agriculture which is export oriented. This means that crops are grown to sell, often in distant markets rather than in local markets. In this kind of farming, the farms are very huge. Large amounts of labor and capital are required. Even the processing of the products is done on the farm or nearby factories. There is good transportation network in the sea that enables the goods to be transported immediately. Crops that are grown are tea, coffee, sugarcane, cashew, rubber, banana or cotton. The tropical regions of the world are known to practice this type of farming. Major plantations of rubber are done in Malaysia, While coffee plantations are found in Brazil, India and Sri Lanka are both known for their tea plantations, market gardening and horticulture. Many areas in most countries of the world specialize in the cultivation of vegetables, fruits and flowers for urban markets. Market gardens are usually located outside towns and cities, where soil and climate are favorable and land is available. As most of the produce is perishable, it must reach the markets quickly before it spoils. Therefore, besides a market, this form of agriculture also requires an efficient transport system for quick with storage facilities are often used. Major crops. In order to meet the demand of food, a large variety of crops is grown. Crops, as we know, are important not only in providing food but also in providing raw materials to many industries. Each crop needs a particular physical condition to grow. Let's learn more about the major crops, their physical requirements and the places they grow in. Food crops: rice, wheat, maize, millets. Beverage crops: tea, coffee, cocoa. Cash crops: fruits, spices, jute, sugarcane. Fiber crops: cotton, jute, silk. Rice. Rice is one of the most important food or cereals in the world. More than half of the world's population survives on the rice. It is the staple diet on the people living in the tropical or subtropical regions. It is grown in the summer in South and Southeast Asian countries. In India, this type of crop is called Kharif crop. It needs a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius and an annual rainfall of 200 centimeter. It grows well in alluvial clay soil since it needs stagnant water. The leading producers of rice are China, India, Japan, Sri Lanka, Egypt, Bangladesh, Southeast Asia, South Korea, Japan, Brazil, Sri Lanka and USA. In India, it is grown in West Bengal, Assam, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Kerala. Wheat. Wheat requires an average temperature of 15 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius and an annual rainfall of 75 centimeter. It needs cool and moist growing season but sunny weather for harvest. It grows well on well-drained loamy soil. Frequent supply of fertilizers and insecticides are required for this crop. The main producers of wheat are steppes of Russia and Ukraine, prairies of the USA and Canada, downs of Australia and temperature grasslands of Argentina and China. In India, it is grown in the northwestern parts of the country. Its yield is high in Punjab and Haryana. Uttar Pradesh is the largest wheat producing state of India. Some other wheat producing states are Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Bihar. Maize. It is not only an important food crop but also a fodder crop. It requires moderate temperature of about 21 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius and an annual rainfall of about 50 to 75 centimeter. It cannot grow in every cold region. Its soil should be fertile and well drained. The main producers of maize are the USA, Russia, Canada, Mexico, Argentina, China, India and Brazil. In India, it is grown in the states of Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. बच्चों, do you know maize is called a mycorrhizal crop as it has yield potential for higher than any other crop. It is also known as queen of cereals. इसे queen of cereals भी कहा जाता है. अब आते हैं millets पर. Millets are a group of small seeded grass widely grown as cereal crops. For example, jawar, bajra and ragi. They are grown on less fertile land and sandy soil and do not need much care. They need high to moderate temperature and adequate rainfall to grow. The main producers of millets are China, Nigeria and Niger. Millets are also used as fodder in the USA. In India, they all grow mostly in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and Rajasthan. Sugarcane. It is a very important cash crop grown in the tropical region. Since it requires more than a year to ripen, it is grown as a plantation crop. It can grow very well from a stem cutting also. Sugarcane grows best at around 25 degrees Celsius temperature and a rainfall of 6 to 7 months. It is a soil exhausting crop, so it needs regular fertilizers or manures. Its juice is used to make sugar. It is a labor-intensive crop. Brazil is the largest producer of sugarcane in the world, followed by India. In India, Maharashtra is the largest producer of sugarcane. Tea. It is a beverage and a plantation crop. It is known for its stimulating qualities. It is spread from leaves that are plucked from time to time for the growth of its tender leaves. It needs a cool climate and well-distributed rainfall. Well-drained loamy soil is best suited for its growth. It grows on gentle hill slopes and needs a lot of manual labor. China, Sri Lanka, India and Kenya produce best quality tea in the world. In India, slopes of Assam, West Bengal, Kerala and Tamil Nadu are the producers of tea. India is one of the leading exporters of tea. Coffee. It is also a beverage and plantation crop. It is made by roasting and grinding coffee beans. It grows best in wet and warm climatic and needs well-drained loamy soil. Slopes of hills are more suitable for the growth of coffee. Arabica or Mocha and Robusta are the two major varieties of coffee. Brazil is the leading producer of coffee. Brazil is called the coffee pot of the world. Colombia, India, Mexico, Indonesia, Jamaica and East Africa also produce good quality of coffee. In India, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka are the main states that produce coffee. Cotton. It is a fiber crop and one of the main raw materials for the textile industry. It has been cultivated for the centuries in the Nile and the Indus valleys. It needs bright sunshine, high temperature, light rainfall and 210 frost-free days for its growth. It grows best in well-drained black and alluvial soils. China, USA, India, Pakistan, Egypt and Brazil are the leading producers of cotton. Cotton is produced on a large scale in the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and Punjab. आगे बढ़ने से पहले बच्चों आ जाते हैं try this experiential learning. On the eve of Cotton Day, 17th October 2022, the Ministry of Textiles announced a premium brand named Kasturi Cotton India for building the image of Indian cotton globally. Rubber. It is prepared from a milky fluid called latex. Latex is obtained from the rubber tree. A cut is made in the bark of the tree and it slowly trickles down into the cups placed near the cuts. A lot of manual labor is required in collecting latex. This sap is then purified, dried and made into rubber sheets. Processing is done in the factories. Latex is used to make tires, tubes and many daily use items. Rubber trees require temperature of about 25 to 35 degrees Celsius, rainfall of 20 to 100 centimeter or more. They are grown mostly in Malaysia, Brazil, India, Sri Lanka and Indonesia. It was taken to other countries by colonizers from Brazil where it originated. In India, it is mainly grown in Kerala and Tripura. Jute. It grows well in alluvial soil and needs high temperature, humid climate and heavy rainfall. It requires a lot of stagnant water for retting. It also requires a lot of manual labor during harvesting and processing. India, Bangladesh and China contribute to 85% of the total world's production. In India, West Bengal is the largest jute producer, followed by Assam and Bihar. Jute is often referred as a golden fiber. Agriculture development in India. Agriculture is the backbone of Indian economy. Agriculture जो है Indian economy की backbone है और भारत को किसानों का देश ही कहा गया है. It is not only a source of food and raw material for industry, but it also provides income and employment to a vast chunk of our population. It is a foreign exchange earner through the export of agriculture produce. However, several problems plague Indian culture. The vagaries of nature in terms of droughts and floods. A largely illiterate rural population that remains mostly ununiformed about the largest methods and techniques. Uneconomic size of holdings, presence of widespread poverty in rural India. Lack of service facilities, especially marketing and storage, that hamper productivity in agriculture since independence. Various agrarian reforms have been undertaken in our country to improve the state of agriculture. Land reforms have been introduced in 5-year plans to stop the exploitation of farmers, give lands to landless laborers, fix tenancy rates and allow farmers to buy the land they work on, consolidate land holdings. Soft loans and credit facilities are being provided to farmers by government banks and cooperatives to encourage them to improve techniques of production. Storage and marketing facilities have been developed at the block levels to improve the marketing of agricultural produce. This allows the farmer to get a better price. The Food Corporation of India (FCI) has set up purchase centers for the farmers to get a better deal for their produce. The government periodically announces support prices to help them. The Green Revolution of the 1960s encouraged improvement in agricultural production. Some important aspects of this program were use of high-yielding and quick maturing varieties of seeds, improvement in irrigation techniques to combat droughts and extend agricultural areas. Many multi-purpose projects set up at this time were a step in the right direction. Use of chemical fertilizers to increase soil productivity and fertility, use of pesticides, increased mechanization in agriculture, rural electrification. With the Green Revolution, some progress has been made in modernizing agriculture and increasing agricultural production. The White Revolution has vastly improved the standards of production and processing of milk and milk products. Milk cooperatives such as Amul in Gujarat have been set up for this purpose. Agricultural universities and institutes are working to help farmers improve various operations connected with agriculture. Knowledge is being spread through the media and demonstrations farms are being set up to educate farmers. As changes are coming in agriculture, production has been rising steadily, but agricultural incomes are still not equitably distributed. So Indian agriculture and the poor farmers engaged in it still have a long way to go. Crucial steps are required to make Indian culture a self-relevant system. Biotechnology offers a solution through gene revolution by providing farmers with high-yield drought resistance and disease-resistant varieties of seeds. The Planning Commission has launched a number of development programs aimed at improving productivity in the agricultural sector. It is hoped that better inputs and more land reforms will revolutionize Indian culture in the future. A farm in India. In Uttar Pradesh's Ghazipur district, there is a village named Adilabad. A farmer named Mullah Lal resides in this village with a farmland worth 1.5 hectares. His house is located on the mainland of Adilabad. He purchases seeds of high varieties from the market every alternate year. Basically, his land is fertile, due to which he is able to grow 2 crops every year. He takes the advice of his friends, elders and government officials regarding different practice of agriculture. Sometimes he uses traditional methods such as taking the help of bullocks in order to plough his fields. On other days, he rents a tractor, which is major means of carrying out agricultural activities. Apart from that, he rents a tube well from a nearby field in order to carry out the irrigation process. His family members also help him in order to carry out different activities on the farm. He also takes loans from nearby banks to buy high-yield variety seeds. He sells his agricultural products in a nearby mandi. Farmers like Mullah Lal do not have access to storage facilities. Hence, they are forced to sell their products even when the market is not favorable. The Government of India has come up with different storage facilities in order to help such farmers. A farm in the USA. A farm present in the USA is much larger as compared to the ones found in India. Typically, the US farms have a size of around 250 hectares. The owner of this farm resides here itself. Sugar beet, soybean, cotton and wheat are a few of the major crops that are grown here. Joe Horan is a farmer from Iowa State's Midwest region. He owns a farm whose size is 300 hectares. Mainly, he grows corn on this farm. He takes adequate steps to check the quality of fertilizers being used and water is supplied as per requirement. Joe also sends the soil sample from his farm to labs present in the region in order to check its nutrition value. With the help of this, he plants a scientific fertilizer program for his farm. He has linked his computer with a satellite. With its help, he can access a clear picture of his fields. He uses pesticides and fertilizers as per requirement. He seeks help from combined harvesters, tractors, levelers, seed drills, threshers and other tools in order to carry out different agriculture operations. Further, he stores the grains in an automated grain storage, which is further dispatched to different market agencies for sale. The farmers of the USA work as businessmen, not like peasants and farmers. Concept map: agriculture, types, subsistence cultivation, plantation agriculture, nomadic herding, mixed farming and dairy farming. क्रॉप्स की बात करें, फूड क्रॉप्स में आता है वीट, राइस, मेज, मिलेट्स. क्रॉप्स फाइबर में आता है कॉटन और बेवरेज क्रॉप्स में आता है टी एंड कॉफी. अब आ जाते हैं ग्लॉसरी पर. एग्रीकल्चर: प्रैक्टिस ऑफ रेजिंग आवर कल्टीवेशन क्रॉप्स एंड rearing animals on the soil. Crop rotation: the practice of growing different crops in a year on the same piece of land to restore soil fertility. Mixed farming: a farming practice in which crops are cultivated along with livestock rearing. Plantation agriculture: a type of farming in which a single cash crop is grown and processed on a very large scale for export mainly. Subsistence agriculture: agriculture that produce enough food for the farmer and his family with little or no surplus for sale. Green Revolution: certain steps were introduced in the 1960s to modernize Indian culture and increase agricultural production. White Revolution: measures taken to improve standards in production and processing of milk and milk products in India. अब आते हैं एक्सरसाइज पर. Darken the correct circle in the OMR sheet. Dash of Indian population is still dependent on agriculture. Option A, Option B, Option C, Option D. बच्चों आगे की प्रैक्टिस खुद से कीजिएगा. आ जाते हैं फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स पर. बच्चों यहाँ पर आपको कुछ स्टेटमेंट्स दिए गए हैं जो कि जिसमें आपको ब्लैंक्स में फिल करना है सही आंसर को. इसकी प्रैक्टिस खुद से कीजिएगा. राइट T for true and F for false statements. Plantations are done on very small land. False. बच्चों आगे की प्रैक्टिस खुद से कीजिएगा. शॉर्ट आंसर टाइप क्वेश्चंस, यहाँ पर कुछ क्वेश्चंस दिए गए हैं, इसकी प्रैक्टिस खुद से कीजिएगा. लॉन्ग आंसर टाइप क्वेश्चंस. बच्चों चैप्टर की मदद से इसके जो भी क्वेश्चंस दिए गए हैं उनके आंसर्स को खुद से लिखिएगा. गिव रीजंस. बच्चों यहाँ पर कुछ स्टेटमेंट्स दिए गए हैं, रीजंस दे करके उन स्टेटमेंट्स के बारे में लिखना है. एजर्शन रीजन बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस. बच्चों यहाँ पर एजर्शन रीजन बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस दिए गए हैं, इसे ध्यानपूर्वक पढ़िए और इसके बाद में इसके आंसर्स को लिखिए. अब आ जाते हैं इनहैंसिंग स्किल्स पर. ब्रेन बॉगलर हॉट्स. फाइंड आउट हाउ ह्यूमन ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड फ्रॉम नोमैडिक फूड गैदर्स टू सेटल्ड फार्मर्स. पिक्चर स्टडी. ऑब्जर्व द पिक्चर्स गिवन बिलो एंड आंसर द फॉलोइंग क्वेश्चंस. बच्चों यहाँ कुछ क्वेश्चंस दिए गए हैं, पिक्चर्स को अच्छे से देखिए, ऑब्जर्व कीजिए और उनके आंसर्स को लिखिए. इसकी प्रैक्टिस खुद से कीजिएगा. एक्टिविटी. अनस्क्रैम्बल द फॉलोइंग वर्ड्स. बच्चों यहाँ पर कुछ स्क्रैम्बल वर्ड्स दिए गए हैं, उन्हें आपको अनस्क्रैम्बल करके ठीक से लिखना है. इसकी प्रैक्टिस खुद से कीजिएगा. स्किल डेवलपमेंट एक्टिविटीज. क्रॉस कनेक्ट. बोथ nomadic herding and dairy farming are types of agriculture in which animals are involved. Create a PowerPoint presentation on comparison between nomadic herding and dairy farming. बच्चों आपको एक PowerPoint presentation बनाना है जिसमें nomadic herding और dairy farming के बीच में comparison करना है. इसकी प्रैक्टिस खुद से कीजिएगा. Life skills. If you were to choose between intensive and extensive agriculture, which one will you choose? What factors would you keep in mind while deciding? Think about this and have a discussion with the rest of the class on it. इसकी प्रैक्टिस खुद से कीजिएगा. बच्चों उम्मीद है आज की क्लास में हमने जो भी पढ़ा आपको अच्छे से समझ में आ गया होगा. अब आप इसकी प्रैक्टिस करते रहिएगा.